Hello lovely people, it is time for another installment of the A to Z reading challenge that I have set myself, which is to read down primarily my physical TBR, but just my TBR in general, by reading books that start with each letter of the alphabet. We are up to letters I, J, K and L in this round. So I have two previous videos. I will leave the playlist for them linked on the screen for you, so if you want to check it out, you absolutely can. And I had 3 physical books picked out for this TBR plus an ebook because I quite literally did not have a book starting with J. So here we are. And I actually will be able to update 2 of them because I've actually read 2 of them already. For I decided to go with the big omnibus of Iced by Elise Faber, which is the first 3 books plus a novella in her Gold Hockey series. So it features Blocked, Backhand, Boarding and Empty Net. I've actually read Blocked before. That was the first Elise Faber book that I read, which is a contemporary hockey romance about the first female goalie in the NHL. So she actually plays on a men's team and her name is Britt. She's awesome and she features in the other stories in this collection, and she falls for the team captain and their romance is great. So when I came back to this collection, I read Backhand, which is the second book in the series, and this one follows Sarah, who is an artist. She's a former champion figure skater who was disgraced because she was accused of cheating, even though we find out later that she didn't. It was a very, very dodgy frame job going on. And so she's not allowed to skate or coach or anything like that because she was literally blacklisted. And so she has tried to rebuild her life, and she works at a gallery, and she is just a really talented artist in terms of drawings. And her boss is constantly trying to get her to give him some of her work to display and to sell. She ends up running into Mike, who is someone that she knew when she was in high school. They used to travel to and from the ice rink together. He's a professional hockey player. He plays for Gold Hockey. They were the best of friends and had something that was approaching a relationship, except they both disappeared from each other's lives for various reasons. And so it is both of them coming back together. Mike is very much an alpha MMC. Sarah is trying to run from her demons, and we rapidly find out that Mike's family are involved in the scandal involving Sarah. And then I read Boarding, which is the 3rd book in the series, and this one follows Blaine, who plays for Gold Hockey, and Mandy. The thing that frustrated me about this one is the number of Harry Potter references there are through the story. However, the book was written or published in 2018-2019, which is still within my buffer period of I don't like it, I don't like reading it, but a lot of people didn't know better back then. So just be warned, lots of Harry Potter references. I skipped most of them and just kept reading, so you can do that. In this one, Mandy is a physical therapist for the team, and Blaine is injured at the very start of the story and is helping Blaine out a lot. So, I mean, I've read a lot of hockey romances between hockey players and physical therapists, like it's just a thing that exists in this world. And then Empty Net is following a couple that are tangentially involved in the world. It's not necessarily a hockey romance. Evan, he's just gotten out of the army. He's moved back to San Francisco, and he's neighbors with Shannon, who helps run a bakery, and the bakery runs out of the home ice rink food area for Gold Hockey, and it's their relationship. It's a super short novella. So what can I say about this collection? Like, they're very 3-star-ish kind of reads. They're easy to read. They're super easy to read. Like, you get through them really quickly. They're not overly long. There's a lot of side characters who appear in each book, so it's got that kind of found family element. Are they the greatest hockey books I've ever read? No. But if you're looking for something comforting to read, sure. I would skip Boarding though because of the Harry Potter references. So far my favorite has been Blocked, which is Britt's story. I just like Britt as a character because she's completely awesome. It's kind of sitting in that mid-tier range of books. I'm not sad that I read them. Am I desperate to continue the rest of the series? Possibly not. But I do have a bunch of Elise Faber books on my e-reader, so at some point I will come back to her stories. But it's nice to get that brick off the TBR. Then I read Just Joshing by E.B. Mitchell. This is one that I had to get on my e-reader, and was, I think, one of the only books that I have that starts with J. And this is Molly and Josh's story. It is a brother's best friend kind of story. Josh definitely falls first. So this whole story takes place over the course of a wedding. So Josh's brother is getting married to Molly's best friend. And both of them are in the wedding party. They reconnect because of all the wedding party business. And Molly's best friend is a bit of a bridezilla, and it gets to the point of ridiculousness, and it's very funny and very entertaining, just in that very rom-com kind of way. And over the course of all of this, as they're reconnecting, Molly and Josh begin to fall for one another, and it is delightful. Like, it is just quintessential Evie Mitchell. It is easy to read. It is easy to fall into. You read it, there's very low angst, and you just feel happy afterwards. Like, that's all I want in a short contemporary romance, because this is only just over 200 pages long. It's not long at all. You speed through it. It's great. And he has a library that, you know, is akin to the Beauty and the Beast library. And we always love that when it features in a story, because who doesn't want that library as a bookworm? I mean, I have no space for it, but I can still dream. So those are the first two that I've read. Now, the plan for the rest of this reading vlog, 4K, I am planning on reading a middle grade story. It is Kip of the Mountain by Emma Gourlay. It's a beautiful library hardback edition. I want to read it because then it could be a potential read aloud for my class for the second half of the year. And then for Elle, I am planning on reading Looking for Group by Alexis Hall, which I think now might be the oldest unread book, physical book that I have. No, it's not, but it's in the top 3 with the oldest unread books that I have. So this is, I think it's YA. YA, gaming, queer. It's one of Alexis Hall's earlier works, which we all know I do better with, so it's from 2018. I've had less luck with his newer work compared to his older work, so I'm intrigued to finally get this. And this is also being re-released soon with a new cover, because it's been picked up by Trad Publishing. But this is the indie version. I will update you when I have read those books. Hello friends. I'm sorry, I'm holding the camera or my phone while I film this, because apparently I totally forgot to review Kip of the Mountain by Emma Gourlay, which is a middle fiction story by an Australian author. And this one takes place in South Africa. We are following Kip, who finds, just before her birthday, this magical creature that she names Buffel or Buffel, I'm not quite sure how the pronunciation goes, which is essentially a little magical being who becomes the object of desire for the local veterinarian, who eventually kidnaps Buffel, and Kip and her friends have to track down her missing pet and rescue him. And it is full of shenanigans. It's a very action-packed kind of story. It kind of jumped around a lot, and it took me a little while to settle into the writing style, but I had a lot of fun with it. It was a really enjoyable read. I kind of liked how it is set in a place where I haven't typically read kids' stories set, so in South Africa, and it deals with issues of racism and segregation, and I really enjoyed reading it. I didn't realize it was by an Australian author, so that made it even more fun because it definitely fit into the Australian Readathon this month as well. So yes, this was a really fun read. I still can't remember where I saw this recommended, but it has been blurbed by Jacqueline Moriarty, which should have been my first clue that this was an Australian kids book. But we know I don't look that closely at the covers until after I finished reading it, so that is why I missed it the first time. Hi everyone, welcome back. So I think I told you that I was planning on reading Looking for Group by Alexis Hall, and I DNF'd it, so that's not the book that we're going to be talking about for Elle, because it wouldn't be me in one of these videos if I didn't DNF something. And I don't feel too bad about this because, one, it's YA. I actually struggled with the first chapter and the writing style and sort of just the tone of voice of one of the characters. So that's fine. I haven't decided yet whether I'm just going to hold on to this one. It could kind of be a soft DNF. I also have an ebook copy of it, so I may just unhaul this and keep the ebook, and if I ever decide to come back to it, I can. I'm embracing my days of not being an entire completionist when it comes to authors. I mean, sometimes I am, but most of the time I think I'm getting better at just letting go of things that I don't need. Instead of reading Looking for Group, I ended up picking up Laughter is the Best Medicine. I cannot ever read this title properly. It is Laughter is the Best Ending. It's because the phrase is laughter is the best medicine, and I cannot read the book title correctly. So I apologize, because I'm probably going to say this multiple times throughout my little review, even though I love the book. I just can't read the title properly. By Miriam Master, which is a middle fiction story, and this one was really fun. So it is the story of Z, who's a bit of a loner. She is a bit of a nerd, and she likes to spend time on her own, and her parents decide that this, well, her mother in particular, finds this a bit odd and decides to send her off on a camp in the hopes that she'll make at least a friend. And Z is very much against this, but, you know, has a plan that she's going to have a terrible first day and have to call her mum, because her mum has promised that if the first day is really bad, she'll come and get her. But what happens on the first night of camp, she meets Tiffany, who is an influencer, a social media influencer, and they actually get along quite well. And they're paired up with two brothers who are very much super nerds and just delightful characters all around. And on the very first night of camp, the entire group is, you know, broken up into these smaller groups, and they're playing murder in the dark. And then a child goes missing, and Z and her group are kind of unwilling to let it go. They decide to investigate, and they end up investigating the home of Old Bat Viv, who is a bit of a legend in the area. She's supposed to be very scary and witchy and, you know, eats children or whatever, like that kind of mythology. But when they get there, they find out that she is just a very quirky old woman, and Z in particular strikes up a really strong relationship with Viv. Meanwhile, all of the stuff with the camp is still happening, and the group uncover the fact that maybe the woman running the camp is not on the up and up and all sorts of things, so that all of that's uncovered. But really what comes down to it is this really cool relationship between Z and Viv and how they connect through just weird quirks and a melding of personalities. I will content warning and say the book opens with Viv's funeral because she's old and she's actually very, very unwell. And so Z and her friends are actually at her funeral in the very first part of the book, and the book opens up with the line, "You're not supposed to laugh at funerals." And it goes into detail the fact that Z is kind of struggling not to laugh because she had that relationship with Viv, who was larger than life and was such a character who would not want people to be somber and bitter at her funeral. In fact, she's made a request that everyone coming to her funeral must be in the brightest, loudest, most unusual outfit that they can put together. I also liked that it's talking about the friendship between a young teen and an older generation, because those relationships are really important to maintain for everyone's sake. And the connection that Z and Viv have is just really, really lovely. Mariam Master is just a great writer. She has a really cool style. I started tabbing very early on and was tabbing all the way through the book. I was enjoying it a whole hell of a lot. There are also scenes that are written in like a script form. Mariam Master is a script writer as well, and so there are scenes that are retold as though they are part of a movie or a TV series, and yeah, it was just really fun. Like, the mystery is really light, it's not supposed to be overly dark, and honestly it's just kind of a little bit absurd, and sometimes that's really fun. I had a great time with this. It was really fun, and I'm counting this round of the A to Z reading challenge vlog complete. We have read 4 books. We've read 4 books successfully and cleared 5 off my TBR. 4 off my physical TBR, 1 off my ebook TBR. So wins all around. In the comments below, I'd love to know if you've read any of these books, or if you're planning on picking them up. Feel free to discuss them with me down below. Otherwise, if you want to let me know that you're here but you don't want to leave a comment, feel free to leave a leaf emoji, because these 4 go searching through the dark in the trees. They end up covered in all sorts of trees and branches and leaves. Otherwise, I hope that wherever you're in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone.